friends, welcome back to Bucket List Homestead. It's about 8 o'clock at night and I'm just now getting to my seeds that need to be planted according to my little handy dandy chart I made. They need to be planted today. Actually, one thing should have been planted yesterday, but it didn't get done. So I thought I'd bring you along, chat with you while I get my marigolds started, Cracker Jack marigolds, some red Geneva onions, and some columbines. So I'm doing the, I guess you can't see that here, right here. I'm doing the marigolds and the columbines in these little trays. So I'm just waiting for the peat or the pots, whatever they call these, peat pots. I'm not sure 100% what they're called, but I'm just waiting for them to poof up like these ones so I can start putting the seeds in there. But I do have my dirt ready for the onions, so we will start on them. So I just thought I'd chat with you because I know if you're anything like me, you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed with seed starting. And part of that is my own fault for feeling overwhelmed because I tend to take on too much. And I'm trying very hard this year to not grow every single thing I need and rely on some farmer markets and some local neighbors who have vegetable stands and things. So that's what I'm trying to focus on this year, and I'm trying to remind myself that as I am planting. The other thing that I'm finding very helpful is really keeping a detailed list, and this has really been helpful. I have a more detailed list I keep on my computer of the day I planted, days to harvest, if it needs a heat mat, if it needs light, all those things, eventually dates, harvested, things like that. But this helps me just know what do I have to plant today. And there's a few things tomorrow. But last year I tended to pick one day to try to plant everything, and that was way too overwhelming and exhausting. So I'm trying to just pick a few things. So a week ago we started the bell peppers, and that was great. Got them done, boom. Tonight it's just going to be these three things because, like I said, it's already 8 o'clock and it's already been a long day. So there's 75 seeds in this packet. I am not planting 75 onions plants, but I am going to do my best. These are insanely tiny. I don't even think you can see. Yep. I'm going to just try and do 2 or 3 in a pot and pray. Because honestly, I think that is probably the best way I can describe my gardening style is a little bit of knowledge and a whole lot of prayer. I don't pretend to know everything about gardening. I just learn from my mistakes, and sometimes I don't. But I just try to learn from my mistakes and just know what works for me and what doesn't. So I'm not going to be the type to say, if you do this, you'll have a great garden and you'll get 150 pounds of tomatoes. I'm not going to say that because I don't even know how to get 150 pounds of tomatoes other than planting a whole bunch of plants. So actually I have a couple in my hand. I'm just going to put some of the extra in the big one. So there. So I am going to wet the soil a little bit because it's a little bit dry. This is the soil that I sterilized when I did the bell peppers. So there we go. We have Geneva onions planted somewhere in here. And Geneva onions need, I have to look it up again. They need heat, but they don't need a heat and they don't need light, I think. Let me check my chart. See, this is why you have to have it. I looked at so many things today. So, and I got this chart from Living Traditions Homestead from their Etsy shop. It was $2. Best $2 I ever spent. So I highly recommend getting it. Onions. Says heat mats not necessary but okay, and they don't need light. So I'm actually going to put them on the, oh, you can't see what I'm pointing to, the very tippy top up there. There's one heat mat up there because the marigolds, right? The marigolds need a heat mat but no light. So that's where they're going to go. So I'm just trying to cover up my onions and I'll water them when I'm done. So onions are off the list. And I have a temporary tag just so I remember what's what in that tray. Okay, so these are still not very wet. I'm going to have to add more water to them. I'll be right back. While those soak up some more water, I watered the onions and I'm going to put them on top here. Oh wait, darn. I forgot I want to cover them with some plastic wrap. I got my helper off to the side here giving me some. I don't have domes that fit these trays. And most of my domes are all cracked and broke, so plastic wrap works great. That's why I got that holder. Okay. Nope. Perfect, thank you. All right. There we go. Plastic wrap. Top shelf. Okay. One thing checked off my list, and looks like these are finally starting to soak up better. You can see these ones didn't, a couple of them need a lot more. These ones are good to go. So we're going to put marigolds, I guess, in this one. And again, there's 150 seeds in here. I'm not planting all 150 seeds. I don't need a insane amount of marigolds. I plant marigolds because they are Gracie's birth flower. And I plant flowers that, I plant sweet peas for Aiden, because that's the April birth flower. And I hope they're going to... So I'm only going to do, at the most, 2. And I hope that's right. I've never started marigolds before. I always buy them. But, and my gardener had a sale at the end of the year last year, so I bought seeds. Supposedly, marigolds will keep pests away from your garden, certain bugs. I don't know. Can't say if it really worked for me last year, but I don't know. I should have shown you they're much bigger than the onions, that's for sure. They remind me of porcupine quills. I hope I'm showing you that seed starting does not have to be scary or complicated. Because I do pretty well, considering that I really don't always know what I'm doing, but I think I still manage to get a good amount. I'm trying to be more educated and learn more, and I feel like I learn something every year that I garden. But yeah, sometimes you can learn all you want, and it's really, it's up to the weather and Mother Nature and God, and, you know, like, you can do all the right things and still not work. So we need to give ourselves a break. All right, so those all germinate. Get in there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That will give me 24 marigold plants. I usually only buy 5 or 6, so I think that's pretty darn good. So we'll put these away. And I have marigold seeds for like the next 10 years. I won't have to worry about them. So marigolds are done. I'm going to check them off. And they do want a heat mat. So they're going to go on top too with the onions, because there's a heat mat up there. Marigolds fit in there, so I'm going to write marigolds right on the lid. So the last thing I'm going to do is columbines. I love columbines. They're beautiful. And the hummingbirds and the bumblebees loved these last year, last couple of years. And it does say that they're a perennial for zone 3. I just cover mine and put them in the garage, and I did lose one last year, but the other one still stayed alive, and that was its 3rd year last year. So I'm going to cover these ones even better. I covered last year's really well to protect it, and it seemed, like I said, it came back, and I'm zone 5B, and it still came back. So But yeah, they're pretty. I love them. And they're a little pricey to buy. Because I have a big pot I put them in, so ideally I'd love to have like 6 to 8 in there, but they were so expensive I only bought 4, and 2 survived the first summer I bought them. So yeah, that was a little, so again, oh great. Flower seeds are always so tiny. It's funny how the tiniest seed makes the most beautiful flowers. So I'm hoping I'm going to do 2 a piece, but who knows. They're so small. Let's just hope we get them in there. Okay. And Calamine's like heat mat and light. Which I don't have the heat mat up there, but I do have the light. So we're going to have to put a heat mat up there. So these are my heat mats. I get them off of Amazon. I can link them down in the description box for you. It's the best deal. I believe 2-pack is around $30. So I didn't think that was too bad. And these are the same ones I got last year. And they work great. I really like them. So, okay. And I also wanted to show you my light setup here. So, probably going to be hard to see right here. David just hooks these up for me with zip ties. And we've got the really, really extra long ones at the dollar store. Like, that's your best bang for your buck. And he just loops them up through. And as the plants grow, I can tighten this so to raise it up. So right now, it's about 2 inches from what the plants are going to be. We might have to raise it a little bit because the cover on these. Yeah. So we're probably going to have to raise this a little bit. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you, it doesn't have to be fancy schmancy setup. Okay, thank you.
In, they just kind of lay there.
Okay. Yeah, way too. So, and you can raise just one side if you don't want, and if you don't need the other side high. So that's really good. You know what? Let's do them this way. There. That way, all of them. And there we go. Okay, so I hope this encourages you a little bit if you're thinking about starting seeds and you're nervous, you know, because it is definitely more budget friendly than buying starts. Not that there's anything wrong with starts. I plan on buying a few starts this year, especially tomatoes. But seeds are definitely cheaper than buying starts. You know, some dirt, a few pots. You can get most of that stuff right at the dollar store. And just try. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it can be scary, but part of this is it's not supposed to be scary. I mean, it's not supposed to be scary, and it's not supposed to be stressful, and it's not supposed to cause anxiety. Being in my garden relieves all that for me. So I don't want to be doing something that's going to be causing it, and then I don't enjoy doing my gardening, which is what really helps me. It feeds my soul. It just, you know, helps me get back to grounding and releases my stress. I mean, it's just, it's something I definitely need in my life. And as the weather is turning and the time has changed, I can feel everything in me saying, we got to get in the garden. And I have to say, no, we can't, because there's still 5 feet of snow on the ground. But I'm babbling now. But yeah, I really hope I show you that someone who's not 100% sure what they're doing still manages to grow quite a bit of food that I was able to store last year for my family. We're still eating the majority of it still, because I was so hard on myself at the end of the year. And then yet, as we're eating everything, it's like, wow, I really grew a lot more than I thought. So let's all promise that this year we're not going to be as stressed. We're not going to have as much anxiety. We are going to enjoy it, be in the moment, and just, you know, let's just pray and hope for the best. Let's all make that promise to one another. I'll make that promise to you if you make that to me. I hope you like this video. If you do, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget the bell. I have videos that come out 2 to 3 times a week, and I also go live once a week. So I love for you to come by and chat with me for live. Till then, take care, God bless, and we'll see you all soon.